Hello, and welcome to my Hollywood moment. Cheers. I'm here today to talk about the paranormal field. I have taken a break from it. I took a break for a year, mostly because of a local team that is maybe more of a, to borrow a phrase from my friend David, a little paratainment focused. You can quote me, I don't care. I became tired of getting confused by the public for this team and for people on this team. Here's one thing that I really thought and believed about our team, Prison Town Paranormal: that we had integrity, that we tried to disprove things. We were upfront and honest about things that we found, that we researched historical facts before we really dove into the ghost hunting part of things. And there are just teams that don't care about that. They don't care if their research, their investigation is based in actual facts. Here's a thing that I learned when I was researching a local building here called the Thomas Building. Facts matter. And in the 1800s and a lot of the early 1900s, everything was in the newspaper. Everything. If Mary Lou Sutton went to visit her grandmother in Des Moines, it was in the paper. Trust me, if somebody died somewhere, it was going to be in the paper, and it was probably going to be very sensationalized in the paper. With that being said, I want to get back into research, paranormal investigating, but I wanted to have like fact-based things behind it. And I have been a historian for a long time. It's what I do for a living. I research property for a living. For like almost 30 years, I've done this. And I've also investigated haunted places, spooky things, unexplainable things. I want to do that again. I am reluctant to be part of a team necessarily at this point. And so I've kind of decided like I'm going to do this on my own. I'm hoping to refer to myself as the lone historian. It sounds so like egocentric to name myself like that, like the lone historian, but I love history. I am a huge history nerd, and I love facts. And I just kind of want to do this by myself right now. I've thought about this for the whole year that I've taken off from the industry, have a little history of a location, and in my back pocket I also have this paranormal experience. I am getting back into the paranormal. I'm going to get involved this year with some Paracon events. I'm going to maybe piggyback on a couple of investigations with some teams that aren't local, and I am going to start this project right here, this house that I live in. I don't talk about this a lot. Now that my kids are grown, I feel like I can put this out here. You can think I'm crazy. It's whatever. We have all of us that live here have seen in the last 24 years that we've lived here, a little boy who runs up and down our hall. And he's wearing older clothes, early 1900s clothes. Little hat. One little piece of history that seems to have been lost from this area is that there was once an orphanage just a block from here. And this lot that my house is built on was wooded. It was a wooded area. And I would imagine that the children played out in the woods. And maybe he's just like a little residual energy that is running through the woods with his friends. Well, here's what I want to do. I want to get as deep into this orphanage as I can, and as deep into possible cemetery for this orphanage that's up the street. It's showing up on the county maps. But when you walk up there, there's nothing marking it. So it's possible that, of course, nobody's buried there. Kids die, and what would they have done with them if they did? I want to learn more about this orphanage. I want to learn more about my neighborhood, and I want to take what I learn, and I want to try to communicate with this little boy, or anybody really who would want to communicate in this area. So I'm really excited for a couple of reasons. One, I'm going to learn a lot of my local history on the land that I have lived on for almost a quarter of a century, that I've enjoyed, that I've recreated on, and a place that I've called my home, and to learn the history of everything that has happened here. And then to also learn some history of my city with this orphanage that was up the road. This area of town used to be hugely populated, largely populated by the African American community. And I think there's a lot of really good stories that could come from that too. Just to acknowledge the history and the people who were here and the events that happened here, I think brings to life a lot of possibilities for just educating myself. I don't know, pretty excited about it. So I'm starting now here in my dining room with my laptop and my Christmas robe and my coffee and the sunshine. It's January, and I just think it's time. I think it's time to get back into it. I will do my best to keep things updated here. Mentioned this last night to a friend of mine, and he seemed pretty excited. I also talked about it with my kids and my husband, and they also are like, you should do that. Go for it. Nothing means more to me than having that support for kind of my nerdy little things that I do. So, she's back into the paranormal, guys. I'm going to finish my coffee, and I am going to start a whole new notebook. I know everything's electronic anymore. I could probably make some electronic files, but they're just not as fun. They're just not as fun as touching paper. And anyways, I digress. Thank you for listening to me ramble. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope that you're having a lovely weekend, and that you are making good choices, and that you are choosing kindness, because this world is not very kind. So you go forth, share your smile, and be a nice human being. I will see you next time. Goodbye.